Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Crypto Hot Seat, the only interview show that matters in crypto. Boy, have we got a good one today. We are joined by Mr. Marcello Mari. Marcello is the CEO of Singularity DAO. And Marcello, is pleased to have you on the show. You bear the distinction of being the first person on this show that I've actually met in real life and spent time in the same place with. So happy to be speaking to you virtually today.
Thank you, Dylan. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on this show. And yes, we've been around this world in this game for a long time, and traveling the world, been at many conferences. So yeah, I mean, we all met a lot of people, but it's a pleasure that I had the opportunity to spend some time with you. I think the first time was in Berlin. Yeah.
Talking at Block Show in Singapore 2020.
Yes, correct.
So
Yeah.
we've put boy have we spent some fossil fuels between us. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Singularity DAO. I'm also very interested to learn a little bit more about how you went from doing PR for SingularityNET to becoming the CEO of Singularity DAO. But I think let's start up front with what Singularity DAO is all about, and let's talk about the exciting launch you guys got going on this week, launching in a closed private beta as the first rollout of your main product. What do people need to know about what's going on with Singularity DAO this week?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. So as you said, this week we're gonna roll out the DynaSet, which is the main product we've been working on for so long, for the past 6 months. So these DynaSets you can imagine as basket of tokens that are managed on chain by artificial intelligence. Of course, at the beginning, there is a little artificial intelligence going on because we are training our algorithms. We are currently building the back data infrastructure, but from this week, anybody, I mean, it's a closed beta, so places are very limited. So if somebody is interested in participating, they kind of have to rush out a little bit because it's going to be on a first come first serve basis. But people can just add liquidity to our DynaSets and get exposure to our trading strategy. So on the other side, you have human traders, which are hedge fund traders, part of our team that will trade these tokens for you. So making sure that they generate alpha.
Yeah, and speaking of those limited beta slots, one of the things that kind of stands out in my mind about Singularity DAO is the really vibrant and busy, in a good sense, Telegram chat. You've got almost 13,000 people chatting all day about Singularity DAO, and I'm wondering how, how do you manage that, and what was it like when there was just 100 or less? Obviously you're operating at a different scale now. How do you grow a Telegram group like that and actually make it useful and valuable to the people reading it?
Yeah, isn't that fantastic? I mean, it's one of my favorite. It's one of the favorite. My favorite part of the job is actually to chat with the community and to spend time with the community. I do a lot of lives. I mean, I try to go live with the community at least once a week. Obviously, being so busy, it's a bit challenging. But seeing this community grow is one of the most fulfilling part of my job, and seeing this people becoming advocates and ambassador of a project that I've been building from scratch together with Ben Goertzel and my co-founder Mario. So whenever I open Telegram and I see people, defending my vision and debating with others that are actually trolling or attacking, or I see people like posting on Twitter, it's really fantastic. And this is the first time that I experienced that on something that I built on my own. So it's very rewarding for me. And how do we manage that? We invest a lot in community management, but it's also very interesting to note that most of our community admins are volunteers. So they spend
Mhm.
countless hours on our Telegram community just because they love the project. So we have separate chat rooms where these admin coordinate to each other, and they just they take shifts and they manage the community for us together with our team, our marketing team. And this is also incredible, right? I mean, have you ever seen anybody like managing a community for free for Coca-Cola or for Goldman Sachs. They don't, because they
Yeah,
hate the company, right? So
yeah.
that's the difference between crypto and traditional world.
Yeah, there's a little bit more passion on the crypto side of things for sure.
Yeah.
You talked about Singularity DAO as something that you've like built yourself. I know that you have had a unique window into a variety of businesses because you come from the PR world. So without, and I don't, not to sound disrespectful, but not to be a builder, but someone who's out there spreading a message, you still get to see and get pretty close up with all the builders. So I guess to put that to a question, what lessons from your former PR life are now playing an important role in your work as a CEO today?
That's very interesting question, Dylan. And of course, I mean your interview style is second to none. So thank you for asking
Hey,
the questions.
stop,
That's
stop.
wonderful. It's wonderful. No, that's it. I've been thinking about this for a while. So as exactly as you said, I mean you are a journalist as well, and as you said, you spend a lot of time talking to builders and people that are developing new companies and new projects, and at the same time you're almost doing the job of VCs in when coming to analyzing these companies and understanding which are going to succeed or which are going to disappear in a few weeks, right? So I was doing this job as a journalist when I was writing freelance for TechCrunch, for Wired, and for The Guardian and many Italian newspaper. And you get pitched so many startups. So you need to educate yourself on how, you know, this company are run
Mm,
and how to evaluate the metrics and the analytics of this company. So I became very familiar with the entrepreneurship world thanks to my exposure to all these startups, and then going to startup meeting and or meetups when I was in London. So I got that exposure. But at the same time, my passion was communication, and that was my background experience. So naturally, when I joined SingularityNET, my first job was, to take a was PR, because I needed to take advantage of my network, my skills, and my ability to create stories. But I always wanted to grow more and more. And in the summer of last year, when Bitcoin was finally raising again, and we were on the verge of another bull market, and DeFi was booming, I had a chat with Ben Goertzel, and together we start thinking, how can we actually use SingularityNET, decentralized artificial intelligence, in the world of decentralized finance? And Ben had this idea on the back burner for quite some time. And in 24 hours, he delivered the white paper of Singularity DAO, which is fantastic. That's only Ben can do this. It's
Le- yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, let's for people who might not know, let's explain a little bit about Ben Goertzel, who is first of all is a pioneer from the world of AI, but is, I guess in this context, it's most relevant to know that he's the founder of SingularityNet, which got you your, is this right? It got you your PR start in this world, and then from that you
Yeah,
helped
pretty much. I'd
launch
say that
Singularity
I
DAO.
was doing PR before as well, a little bit on the side, but most as a freelance. I started with SingularityNet as a PR, and then because of my exposure to crypto, my passion for crypto and blockchain, Ben thought that I was the right person to start leading Singularity DAO. And in the beginning, the deal was that I was an interim leader until we wouldn't find a better suited CEO. But then it appears that I kind of like the role, so I
Uh-huh.
sticked around.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, are you working with Ben every day, or is it mostly you steering the ship?
It's mostly me, and I saw Ben this week because we were both here in Miami for Art Basel, where we brought Sophia, the
Yep,
humanoids,
Sophia, the
and
famous talking
I
robot. Yeah, wonderful.
exactly,
How is Art
yeah,
Basel?
you.
What have you seen or done there?
Basel was mad, man. It's incredible. I mean, I've never seen like so many events happening at the same time, and the quality of people is insane. So, because of what's happening in the NFT world, art and crypto like magically merge together unexpectedly, right?
Yeah, yeah. It really seems like Art Basel overnight is now a crypto event, is what it seems like.
Exactly. Yeah. Correct. 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 It was. Yeah. I was. I think. I mean, I haven't had that much exposure to the actual Art Basel, but I would say that it was 50-50 art
Oh
and
wow.
crypto, and not just NFT. Of course, within the crypto, 80% was metaverse and NFTs, but it was a lot of DeFi. All the main companies were there, 3 to 4 yacht parties happening at every single hour of the day, every day. I mean, it was impossible.
That's the mark of a good crypto
Right,
event, is when there's multiple yacht
yeah, yeah,
parties,
yeah,
multiple
exactly,
yacht
exactly.
parties.
And so yeah, made some very interesting connections. And also, what I noticed, that the network that I have is more extended towards Europe and the eastern side of the world, while the US
Hmm.
ecosystem seems to be quite self-referential. It's a bit close. So either your network is US based or is the rest of the world. So most of the people that I met
Hmm.
here, I've actually never met them before, which is unusual for somebody that has been in crypto for so long. But I've never came to the US that much. So I need to come here more often to connect with the network of builders here.
Well, yeah, I remember last time we spoke, you were quite the digital nomad. Are you now just a digital nomad CEO?
Correct,
Is that a fair way to put
correct,
it?
correct. Yeah, yeah.
All right, very good,
In
very
the
good.
past 3 months, I've been to Dubai, Malta, Lisbon, Turkey, Italy, and now the US, and then France and London before. So yeah, traveling a lot. Still don't know where to settle.
So, with the exception of having to wear a face mask on an airplane, has COVID changed your wandering lifestyle much? Do you still get to go where you want to go mostly?
Yeah, mostly yes. Of course, it was very hard to come to the U.S. before the 8th of November when they reopened, right? And still,
Mm.
it's not recommendable to try to go to Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, right? So some countries need to be cut out of the list, but there are still many countries that are pretty wide open, right? Dubai is very liberal. Here in Miami is pretty open. um, yeah, Lisbon a little bit. So it depends. I mean, there are still opportunities to travel. Of course, it affects a little bit. Some countries are off the list, but we can still travel.
Gotcha.
I'm fully vaccinated,
Uh,
so I mean, I don't, I mean, I fully vaccinated and I still managed to catch COVID though. But, uh, but it's crypto.
the world is different, man. It's a different
Yeah,
world. It's a different world. Happy to hear that you're still able to make it work for you,
yeah,
though. Let's talk a little bit about. I remember last time we spoke, we were talking about the history of AI within finance, and it sounds like one of the things a lot of people don't necessarily know about artificial intelligence is that some of its earliest applications were actually to help make investment
yeah.
decisions. Could you talk a little bit about back then and how it pertains to what you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. So, earlier on, you mentioned, like, for those that who don't know who Ben Goertzel is. So, and I think this is also like quite interesting. So Ben Goertzel is one of the most proper genius, and he's the person who popularized the concept of artificial general intelligence. So, artificial general intelligence is opposed to what we normally called narrow artificial intelligence. So currently in the market, you have algorithms that are good at doing one things, like computer vision, like speech recognition, or neural language processing, and so on, right? But they do one task and one task only. So your brain instead can
Mhm.
analyze multiple tasks at the same time, right? So the artificial general intelligence that Ben is dedicating his life to build, um, allows different algorithms to talk to each other on the blockchain, right? So we have different capabilities within Singularity Net, so almost to form like a DAO of artificial intelligence that can talk to each other, rank each other, review each other, and collaborate to each other, right? So, um, as you said, AI, the very first use of AI was in military, right? So we would first use AI to kill people more efficiently, and then we used it, and then we used it for marketing purpose, so
Yeah.
to sell stuff, more stuff that we don't need. And the third use was actually finance. So finally, to make more money to those that had the capabilities of using this artificial intelligence, which, back in the 90s were mostly hedge funds, so people that can actually spend a lot of money on building their own AI infrastructure. With the blockchain, and what we're doing at Singularity DAO is to make these AI tools available to anybody. So you don't have to be an hedge fund traders now to use artificial intelligence in finance. So when we're gonna rolling out our own AI, anybody will actually have access to sophisticated artificial intelligence tools to finance and hopefully to help them managing their investments. And there are 10,000 cryptocurrencies out there. It's impossible like to
Mhm.
get that knowledge of everything that goes on. So
Right on. Yeah, I'll need a little help to figure out how to invest across 10,000 different
right,
currencies. I
people
get you
people
there.
rely a lot on. So as you know, a lot of informations in crypto happens in Telegram communities, Discord communities, crypto Twitter, Reddit, and even 4chan if you're good enough to skim through the trolling, right? And then
Mhm.
once he passed that sort of initial filter, then it hits the news, right? And if a journalist is as good as you are in picking up, the news from these communities and is reliable as you are as a journalist, then they can basically get in from the news. But typically in crypto, when a news hit media is already too late. So you need to have strong, reliable sentiment analysis to understand what goes on in different crypto communities before they hit the media.
Yeah, you're just immediately making me think of that old saying from investment that you should buy the rumor and sell the news. By the time you see something on the TV, the money's already been
Correct.
made.
Yes, exactly. This is
Yeah. Uh, let's talk a little bit about your new colleague, Chris. Is it pronounced Poulin?
Pauline.
Poulin,
Yeah.
who was just recently named Chief Technical Officer of Singularity DAO. What do we need to know about this guy? What's he got on his plate going forward?
So Chris is incredible. So one of the lack of working with SingularityNET and particularly Ben is to get exposure to his network, right? Which is obviously like super top talents. And it did happen that Chris was looking for a new opportunity to join a startup, especially I guess some exposure in crypto. And Chris was director of machine learning at Microsoft for a couple of years, and he was leading um, a prediction modeling consultancy before. He worked for the White House and has done several public jobs for the U.S. government, always in prediction models, right? So his passion was and is still creating models to predict price fluctuations in financial environments. And very few people have tackled that in crypto, and he wanted to embark in this journey with us. So he's helping us building the whole AI infrastructure of Singularity DAO, is managing the whole tech team of Singularity DAO, and is very much giving the vision for the product development of Singularity DAO. So we are extremely fortunate to work with somebody with that kind of experience, 25 years experience. Of course, for me, that I'm in my first, let's say, executive experience working with somebody with so much experience, it can also be a challenge sometimes, right? How do you align? How do you coordinate? And I'm not managing Chris, but how do we work together? And so far it's been absolutely incredible. Chris has been able to coach me on so many aspects of company management and company growth, team management, and so I'm extremely fortunate to work
Yeah,
with him.
very good, very good. Hey, Marcello, we're almost out of time together. Is there anything that you want to talk about in these last few minutes? Anything you want to get the word out about?
Well, we have these DynaSets coming up this week, and I would like to invite anybody to have a look at what we have going on, because I believe this is a revolutionary tool. This is, of course, the first MVP iteration of our DynaSets. We basically only have three strategies, including BTC, ETH, and SingularityNET ecosystem projects. Also, SingularityNET has evolved to become an ecosystem of companies. So imagine what Cardano is doing on the layer one level, SingularityNet is doing with AI companies. So we are building AI and blockchain companies and spin-off. We launched one last week through Singularity DAO Launchpad. We raised 2 million in 90 seconds
Wow.
and is currently trading at a 15x. So we believe that keeping an eye on our launchpad and the opportunity that comes from SingularityNET ecosystem is going also to be a good advice, not
Yeah, yeah,
financial
yeah.
advice. Do your research, just a friendly tip. And So keep an eye on what's going on in our ecosystem, because I think it's a lot of interesting stuff happening, all dealing with AI at different levels, AI on the blockchain. So we are really building like, revolutionary products here. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, Marcello, thank you for sharing a little bit of time with us. That's Marcello Mari. He's the CEO of Singularity DAO. You can learn more about what he and his team are up to at www.singularitydao.ai. Thanks again, Marcello.
Thank you so much, Dina. It was a pleasure chatting with you.